And hi, I'm Andrea Blackwell. I'm also a community specialist here at D2L, and I am excited to help you learn about our Brightspace community and help your experience be better as you engage with each other and learning more about Brightspace.
Hey there, it's Steph. I see some familiar names on our guest list today. I'm so glad that you were willing to take some time to connect with us here for this webinar. Thank you for being here.
All right, so welcome everyone. Just as we start, we were wondering if you could put like a thumbs up in the chat or just let us know if you have already accessed the new community. If folks are new to the community, we are so excited and thrilled to introduce you to the community. And I think that maybe we could go ahead and just talk about what to expect in the new community. So first of all, we have an option for users who are new to the Brightspace community, or maybe just you have some questions about this new community experience. So on our webpage, we have the option to take a community tour. And I am actually just going to step in and I guess just demo that for you, just show you where you can find all of these wonderful things. So is it okay if I borrow the share screen? Okay, excellent, thank you so much. So this is our new Brightspace community. And so right here, you can see that little button that I just talked about. We have the Take a Community Tour. So if you click on that, it's going to take you to this article and it's going to walk you through exactly what is on this slide that we just showed essentially. So kind of like a little bit what's new in this community, what is still in legacy community, and then all the different areas we have, which we've tried to make as accessible as possible. So aside from this article that we definitely recommend if you're wondering where can I find something in the community, we also have, just when you're on this homepage, we have our discussion forums, and right here in the top nav bar, we've tried to put everything that you may want to find. So we have our discussion forums here so you can ask questions. In our resources, we still have things like our product. We have a product roadmap, which I just want to highlight real quick because we're very excited about this. We have the product idea exchange, which at the moment you will still need legacy credentials like from the old community to sign into, but you can find that both here in the resources as well as back on the home page. We have these lovely quick links for your bookmarks, your discussions, the Brightspace Learning Center, Pi, Brightspace Guided Training. And then really quick, we also have our release notes just right here up at the top nav bar. And then because release notes are just so popular and everyone wants to make sure they know what's going on, we have just discussion threads like this. So for example, our release notes updates. So every time our release notes are updated, we make a post here. And we absolutely recommend that you do something called bookmarking. So in this case, I've already done that so I can keep track when people are commenting and help out as best I can. So you'll see this on discussion threads. There will be a little bookmark right here, this little tab. And when you click on that, it'll send you notifications that you can adjust in the platform as well to either just be notifications in the platform, or you can get an email about any updates, or both. And then lastly, last base, we really want to highlight that we're just so thrilled about is our community groups. So we have our group spaces, and one I'm just going to quickly highlight is like our accessibility interest group, or instructional design. We have these groups here in the community. You can come in You can join our public-facing groups or receive invitations to other groups in the community and get your notifications through there, and also updates to events that are happening in your groups. And lastly, before I turn this over, speaking of events, we also have an event section that we just want to highlight and let everyone know that you can come here to find any events that are going on in the community or any events that are happening in your groups. And yeah, we are just so excited to share this experience with you. And if anyone has any questions, please feel so welcome to just pop them into the Q&A so that we can just like best help you on this journey. And I think if anyone has any questions, happy to answer them just while we have this up.
There was one wonderful question. Travis, thank you so much for posting it in the Q&A. And Andrea, I hope you don't mind, I just posted it there in the Q&A. So I just wanted to make sure for folks perhaps watching, following our live presentation today, our live webinar, want to make sure that we're giving voice to that too, because Travis, I think is a great question. Lots of people are interested to know, what is that specific date by which we're completely transitioning from the legacy community to the new community? And in full transparency, we haven't provided a firm date where all of that would be completed. And there are a couple of reasons why. One is, in order to make kind of that transition really a completed one, the next step for us is to release single sign-on from your new community experience into those extended areas of functionality. That means the product idea exchange, the Brightspace Learning Center, and the ASC experience for those who are approved support contacts. That beta test, so the initial testing of the single sign-on solution, is coming very, very soon. I'm not able to give you a specific day and time, but to yourself, Travis, and anyone attending this webinar or kind of connecting after the fact, even watching the recording, if you're interested in participating in that beta test of the single sign-on solution, you're very welcome to reach out to us. Andrew, I think you're still sharing the screen. Could I trouble you just to scroll down to the bottom?
Yes.
If you'd like to, you'll see that there's a little I have led you astray. I apologize. I thought I had
No, it's okay.
popped in already. Aha. No, I have. Contact us. If you select that contact us link there in the footer, you'll be connected with a link to email our community team. Please do. Let us know if you want to participate in that single sign-on beta test. We'd love to have you. We are getting a larger and larger group together to participate in that, and we'll actually be posting instructions in our community once the beta begins, so that even if you haven't officially registered to participate, you'll still be welcome to do so, and then also to provide us feedback. But that is an important dependency before we're able to say we've completely transitioned into the new community and we're ready to take some of those next steps. So I do hear you, Travis. It will be nice to be able to wrap that up and make sure you're accessing everything from one site, one space, and it is coming very soon. Thank you for being so patient with us, and also for attending this webinar and asking a good question that I know is top of mind for lots of folks.
All right, thank you so much for that question. And with that, I will turn this back over to my lovely colleagues.
Thanks so much, Andrea. The other thing that really we wanted to share with you with this new community space is actually something we're super excited about. And that's like similar to what Travis was asking. I don't want to go to multiple spots. I want everything in one location. We've heard that feedback very much from when we started our work to bring to you this new experience. And truly, we're trying to bring into you the Brightspace help documentation site right within the community. So now we have all our documentation right from within the community navigation bar. You will be able to access all KBs arranged by your role. So that is your role in your organization. Are you an educator, an administrator, or even if you're a learner? We have all of the documentation laid out by role and also by your place of learning. So that is the segment, which could either be higher education, K-12, corporate, and we're continuing to build this experience for other areas as well. What we wanted to share with you is that while we were coming up and arranging this documentation in this community, you might have participated in the past in our fusion testing, as well as our continuous feedback collection process that we had going on throughout community with all the surveys, feedback opportunities. We've tried to create and are continuing to evolve the KB workflows, keeping your workflows in mind. So we collected data from our UX research team, as well as your feedback, to organize documentation within the knowledge bases so that you can find information in the steps you would actually complete processes or workflow within your Brightspace workflows. So if you hop in through the navigation bar in the community and you identify as an instructor who's in the higher ed industry, you would select that, which would take you to a KB experience designed very specifically for you, and then have documentation arranged in a sort of a table of contents that you would see, which would list different headings such as getting started, setting up and managing your course, creating course activities, interacting and engaging with learners, and then finally providing that excellent feedback and evaluation to your learners. So that is truly something I wanted to highlight, because we've heard in the past it's tough to find documentation, and we wanted to make one step closer towards helping you find documentation with greater ease. Something else that's really cool and that we're super excited about in this new community space is that once you do interact with this tree view of things that are nested within for your workflow. For example, if you were interested to find out more about quizzes, you would go under creating course activities and then going into quizzes, where we have the quiz tool overview with embedded screenshots accompanied with alt tags, as well as video workflows embedded right within the KB. But that's a lot of information for a lot of different tools, even for within the KB. And within each article, there's a lot. With this new platform, we are actually able to see in this 3-pane view, and on this page menu that really pulls H2s from within the article. So these are heading levels within the article that would be of relevance or value to you as you're exploring or trying to find for information within the article. So if you hop into a quiz article and you really don't have the time to understand the documentation by reading through it, and you really want to hop into the video, there's actually a video quick link right within this on this page, which you will click, and then the page auto scrolls for you to get you to that location. So it's a sort of an anchor that brings you to that location. What that does is it not only helps you as an individual find that location or piece within the article, but if you're hoping to share it with your colleagues or enable your learners to find a specific point within the article, you can actually share the URL that generates once you click a particular H2 or this on this page topic that you're interested to share. That's definitely something we wanted to call out that you can make use of to help point your users to a very specific point within the article. I'm now going to pass it over to my lovely colleague, Stephanie, who's going to further discuss a little bit more about documentation with you.
One thing that I know we've mentioned already in this webinar, and I think I heard Awesome say it just a moment ago, and I want to highlight it, is for those of you who are really familiar, like Travis, with our legacy community, you, I hope, will see the effort that has gone into really taking time to connect more frequently with folks inside of our community, our members, in events like this, through some of our fusion events and other types of testing opportunities, because it's so important for us to make sure that we are constantly improving our documentation, and we need truly your help to do it. One of the pieces of information that we've been hearing from educators is the spirit of your work is often really focused on the way that you act in service to others and the way that you support learners in particular. And so for us, it's been very important to ensure that we're providing you with a lot of flexibility in the kind of documentation that you access through community. This means that while we may give you that option to view administrator documentation or instructor documentation, if that's your role, we don't want to kind of gatekeep from you the experience of a learner or the experience of other roles that you might be supporting in your place of teaching and learning. So it's important to us to ensure that you understand that you always have access to sort of the learner set of documentation exactly from that space that Andrea and Austin were sharing with you earlier. So right from your navigation bar inside of the new community, when you hover over documentation, you can choose the place of teaching and learning for you. So whether that's in a corporate space, in a higher education space, or in a K-12 space, and then the role whose documentation you'd like to see. So on this particular slide, really what we're indicating is you can always review the set of documentation that we have for learners. And in this space, we're trying to help call out many, many more screenshots. I think that's one of the greatest improvements, particularly to those who are familiar with our legacy documentation, our legacy community site, is that I don't think it was organized as easily for you to understand what pieces of documentation were specific to different contexts. So higher ed versus corporate, for example. And I don't think it was as easy for you to find documentation specific to your role. We also heard from lots of folks who are legacy community users that you needed more visuals. And so we hope you'll find many, many more of those included in learner documentation, as well as the documentation for other roles. But we are trying to keep in mind providing more of those in a kind of step-by-step instruction. So there's more to guide you. The other piece we wanted to call out is another resource that for some folks is really highly prized, and we understand for others sometimes it's not your go-to, but if you like video documentation, if you're someone who really wants to be able to follow along with a Brightspace tutorial, we haven't taken those away. So we always had those in the legacy community. If anything, what we've done is really, and this is all the kudos in the world to our wonderful knowledge team, who has reinvigorated that program with the creation of many, many new video tutorials. They've done a beautiful audit of the content that had been in Brightspace tutorial, the YouTube channel, for quite a while, to make sure that the content that you'll find there is up to date and refreshed. So when you, again, hover over documentation in the community navbar, you'll be able to see this listing of all tutorials sorted by administrator, instructor, and learner, so that you can see video playlists specific to those roles. So just wanted to provide a bit of an overview of how you'll be able to connect with information from community that might be specific to a role that you support versus your own role. Any other questions before we kind of move on into this next slide? I don't want you to be shy to ask questions. I want to hint at something that's coming soon. We have, Andrea had shared a moment ago, if you scroll down in the new community to the footer, there is a little icon that we've embedded into the footer that says like share an idea with us or contribute an idea with us. So it just makes it a little bit easier to see it as soon as you get there. If you haven't taken a look yet, scroll down to the bottom, check in with that little link. If you are spotting areas of our documentation where you would still like to suggest a different improvement, or something appears to be missing, or it could be tweaked, that feedback really will make a difference. We hope, if nothing else, especially over the last year or so, you're seeing how your feedback is being very carefully listened to, and really being carefully enacted into the choices that we're making in the design of this new community space, the way that we're organizing materials. And if you feel we're missing the mark, please just know that we literally have sort of suggestion box. That's sort of the icon that's present there in the footer just for you, just to keep that door always open. Even if the feedback is challenging, or you're feeling a sense of frustration, please know that we will listen, and we will try to take our very best and fastest next steps to help make that experience a better one. So please just keep chatting with us. Another piece of feedback in light of that, actually, that we've been hearing is we support many, many learners, many educators, administrators from all over the world, and that's a wonderful thing. And whether you are someone who is located in North America or in Canada or in the United States, English may not be your first language, and it's important that we're offering a more consistent experience across many, many languages. So something that our legacy community was sorely lacking was the ability to really filter and review and search for content just for you in your own language. So you'll now find in the new community space a language dropdown. This allows you to select from the number of languages that we support now in the new community. You'll find all kinds of documentation there. So if you are a speaker of another language, or if you're supporting students who are speakers of other languages, or instructors or administrative staff as well, important to note that we are expanding the volume of documentation that we house in each of those community spaces to make sure that we're providing more and more all the time. And that includes your contributions as well. So if there's something that you would like to contribute to community too, please don't ever be shy. You can connect with us in that very same way by selecting that little suggestion box in the footer, and we'd love to hear from you. Love to help make sure that we're expanding that set of documentation for other languages too.
Thanks, Steph. All right, so this is like hot off the press. These two top features in the community that I'm about to chat about are really new implementations within the last like month or so, and things that we're really excited about. So first is the new and community widget. This is something that you'll find at the bottom of the homepage. And really what we're doing here is just pulling in different featured areas that we think you'll want to access. So things like events, or our roadmap is now featured. We can pull in different discussions that are frequently looked at, or different polls, so feedback opportunities. So essentially, based on what we're hearing from you that you want is kind of easy access to, you'll find in that carousel there. So check it out. It's pretty fun. Something else that was completely inspired by client feedback is our product roadmap, and that's just newly come into the community too, and something that we're just really excited to share, because we know there's been just an overwhelming amount of feedback around really wanting sort of eyes on what products are being worked on, you know, what Brightspace products and tools are we working to improve, and what's the status of those. So you can now find it by clicking on the resources tab in the community. You'll find the product roadmap right from there. Again, we're just hoping that this type of transparency can help you to really be able to inform your long-range plans within your Brightspace instance. The way that we've compiled this is we've taken pie items, lots of feedback sessions from clients, as well as different user tests to sort of determine what makes it into the product roadmap. So it's completely client inspired, which is just incredible. Just so that you can stay up to date with changes to this product roadmap, there also is a discussion attached right on that same page. So again, if you want to receive notifications for changes to this, we do encourage that you just bookmark that discussion to be notified. Excellent. So we love staying connected to you, and we hope that you'll stay connected to the community. So we've created an Ask a Question article, as well as a Community FAQs article. These were both, again, completely inspired by you, our clients, and the Community FAQs article in particular has been continuously iterated on, continuously edited based on what we're hearing, lots of from you. What questions are you wondering about in terms of how to access the community now, where to find things? So we've been updating that on an ongoing basis. Our community updates discussion, as well as our community events discussion, are other spaces that we're updating lots just to keep you informed. The events discussion in particular is updated every Monday morning. And what it really gives is sort of an overview of what events are happening in the community that week. So again, we encourage you to bookmark both of those just so that you can receive those automated notifications when there's a change. All of these sort of resources and areas that I've just chatted about can be found all in Community Corner under the Resources tab. And as you know, all of us have been saying, we truly do value your feedback. We want the good, the bad, the ugly, so that it can really help us to inform what types of changes we're making, all based on what you want and what you need to help you really be able to implement your Brightspace instance. So please, anytime, connect with us through our Brightspace community at d2l.com inbox or our @Brightspace Help Twitter handle that is managed on a daily basis. We're always checking it, as well as we have sort of proactive content going out all the time that if you follow us, you'll be notified of when that content goes out. Just where we are really promoting resources that are and events that are happening in the community all the time.
Can I jump in and make a small interrupt, Julie?
Please, always welcome.
I'm the worst for it. I'm just like
Nope.
always expected. I'm so sorry.
You're the best for it.
I'm sorry. I just wanted to know, Travis, thank you so much for your excellent questions in the Q&A. Please keep them coming. And I do see your note. Thank you so much. Got it and noted. Travis had put a great question in the Q&A, which was about the new in-community widget and whether or not that could be added to Brightspace instances. And there's like a thumbs down and a thumbs up to be had in that answer. So the immediate thumbs down is like, no, we can't add that community widget into Brightspace. It is a different type of platform than Brightspace itself. However, there is a new kind of feature called the Brightspace Virtual Assistant. We've just announced it in the May preview release notes. It's only available at this time to end user support customers, but the cool thing about that particular widget is it gets at what Travis is asking, which is how can I connect with the latest and greatest from the new community space from directly inside of Brightspace? And that is exactly what the Brightspace Virtual Assistant does. It is a widget that would exist inside of your Brightspace environment. It can be available to every role within your Brightspace environment. So students can access it, instructors can access it, administrators can access it. It persists across every space inside of community, except where that widget could overlap. So it's not just limited to homepage, it exists on every page of your Brightspace instance. And it really is a little virtual assistant. So you can ask it questions and it will search our community. So you don't, I think earlier to your point, Travis, you don't have to be in lots of places at once. It will help you to search community exactly from where you're spending more of your time, which is in Brightspace. So a cool little feature that is in its kind of early stages there, available to end user support customers, but something neat to kind of check out. And I've included a link in the Q&A to the section of the May preview release notes where you can take a look at that.
And as always, we are just so excited to learn from you and hear your feedback, as Julie mentioned. So we often try to have polls and surveys available to our community users. And currently we do have a poll just asking what types of quiz related resources do you want to see more of? What is really helping you in understanding that quiz experience? What resources do you want to see more of? In terms of just helping you with that enablement. So we do have that quiz just in the community currently, and we would just be so thrilled to hear people's feedback. And yeah, as more come, be sure to just like check out the community. We try and like announce them and post them. And the same when we do surveys as well. So please feel free to check back anytime.
Also, just wanted to add to Andrea's lovely poll, the context behind why we were asking this question is actually, have you noticed that in the community, there are actually tags by tools? So when you ask a question, you actually tag a particular tool in. why does that help? It helps us as a crew understand what are those trending questions about which Brightspace tool is being asked most about. It can also help product experts actually hop right into a particular tag and see your questions. So they understand what are those troubling workflows, what are things that the documentation team could further enhance so that you have lesser of those questions and find those resources available in the KB. So that's exactly why we've seen that quiz questions have been trending high in community, and we really wanted to understand how can we, as a crew, help you further with those enablement resources, very specifically targeted to quizzes. But again, yes, as we said, we're constantly evolving and we're looking for your continued feedback opportunities and ways that you're sharing with us. For example, in events and quiz, and question and answers right here in this chat. So that's awesome. Please continue doing so. As Julia shared, as well as Andrea, there are tons of poll opportunities, ways to keep connected with us via email, through Twitter. So again, we're constantly looking at those platforms and continually evolving our community experience for all of you. Also, just wanted to open up the floor right now for any more question and answers that anyone might have. We can get this convo actually started. This is a Convo with Community session, so let's just keep the ball rolling. If you have questions, put them in the chat or the Q&A, and we'll be more than happy to answer those for you.
I think what I'm going to do is just, I know when we are in that webinar at first, folks don't have their microphones necessarily enabled, but I'm just going to go through our list so that if you want to come off mute and have a chat with us, we're happy to connect with you. Please feel no pressure or obligation, but it's wonderful to be connected and to have this opportunity to hear from you as well. I will also put in just a small shameless plug that if you enjoy having these opportunities to connect with the community team, hear more about what's being added to community, new things to check out, important content that we're just releasing, there is an upcoming event. It's called a Swing into Spring edition Convo with Community, and it is also found in community through events. That one is happening on April 27th from 10 to 11 a.m. Eastern time, but we'd love to see you there as well. Oh, another question there in the. Thank you so much for letting us know. I apologize that the chat is not enabled for this session. We'll try to work on that for our Swing into Spring edition. But you're welcome to keep posting to us here in the Q&A, or again to come off mute. One thing that I would love to know, if it would be okay, would be if you have suggestions, or we're hoping to hear a little bit of information in this event that perhaps we didn't cover. You don't have to provide us with that information right now either. You're always still welcome to connect with us using that kind of suggestion box in the community footer that we chatted about earlier. We've just put up a brief poll for you. Just truly, I think if there was one other theme of our conversation today, it's that we really do want to make sure that your experience is a good one. And we will do that by learning where the rough edges still are for us in community and how we can make better events for you in future. So truly grateful to you. If you would be willing to give us a bit of your feedback here in our poll, or again through that suggestion box in community. Really grateful. Thanks so much for being a part of our webinar today, providing wonderful questions in our Q&A, and being members of our community. It makes a real difference to have this opportunity to connect. I can see that some folks are dropping off, and that is more than fine. Truly so grateful to have had this chance to all get together. And we do hope that we'll see you again on April 27th for our Convo with Community Swing into Spring edition. Thank you everybody for connecting with us today, and we wish you a wonderful afternoon. Bye.